Howdy gentle humans, welcome or welcome back to my channel. This is Diana Chu here at SLOWGAZE. We are going to sit together and I am going to put my everyday face of makeup on with you, for you, and share what's in my everyday makeup bag, what I've been wearing recently but also consistently, and what I've been loving out of my routine, how I look polished, and all the products that go into it. So I'm actually wearing it today. We'll jump in with a full non-face of makeup and then slowly build out from there. I'll do a little cutaway hopefully right now to show you what it looks like with me with a full face and then me with no face. No face of makeup on, just so you see the difference. It's very slight, but I think it really makes a difference, this kind of minimalist makeup. So if this is interesting to you and if you want to stay for the ride, I do talk a lot about gazing inwards and slowing down. That's the name of my channel, SLOWGAZE, but that's also the ethos behind a lot of what I do here and a lot of what I talk about. It's not just a makeup channel, it's a place to talk about lifestyle and to really break down what it means to live an essentialist life, to live with less but better things, and to slow down and see what you need, check in, and go from there. So I really cover a little range of topics, but beauty has been fueling my love for self-care, ritual, and presentation of identity. So that's the stuff that you might find on this channel. I am uploading every week, or I try to, on Wednesdays, 11 a.m. Central Time. You can find me on slowgaze.com or SLOWGAZE just on Instagram as well. I am not on TikTok, and I don't think I'm going to be anytime soon. Let's dive into my everyday bag of makeup. I will show you that right now it consists of the following things: sunscreen, a stick of foundation slash concealer. I have a little brush for that as well. 2 brow products, a pencil and a pomade, lip pencil, a comb, a little lip balm, mascara, highlighter, blush, and a mirror. That's pretty much it. That was a lot. And it's not like I wear all of these every single day. This is kind of the full face of the most minimal makeup that I would, but I still consider this like a full beat. So let's dive into the makeup. Okay, let's go into my daily makeup bag. I mean, this is literally the makeup that I've been wearing pretty much every day. A few exceptions, meaning I would swap in or swap out depending on the day. And I do have a few things that, like this, I do wear on occasion depending on whether or not I'm wearing a mask, but we'll get into that in a second. I always start with combing my hair, whether or not it's a wash day in the morning or if it's a dry shampoo day. I really like having a really slim profile brush. It's from Winden. They no longer make it. I think they've revamped their website and have really gone into recycled materials, recycled plastics, and non-single use packaging for like solid shampoo bars and whatnot. So I think it's still worthwhile to see what they're up to. If I do find it online, I'll share a link. Let's see here. We have quite a few like Westman Atelier bits. I always start with a little bit of lip balm. This is the Burt's Bees original classic beeswax lip balm. Don't need a mirror to apply it, and in like, I don't know, 30 seconds it's gonna start to feel really nice and tingly. And then I go into sunscreen. This is a no-brainer and a prerequisite for me every single day. This is the Glow Screen by Supergoop. Any of the Supergoop ones, it really depends on the finish you're going for. I don't usually put too much because, again, this one does have a little tint. It's not necessarily a tinted one, but I think this is the same kind of filtery, glowy tint that Charlotte Tilbury's Flawless Filter tries to go for. So it's kind of like a baby filter. And it does boost glow, especially in the winter time when I'm not sweaty and I'm kind of the opposite. Even though I have a very oily skin, I like to put this on and I'm focusing it on my forehead and places that don't see a mask. I'm still wearing a mask every day and I'm still not going out much. It is the dead of winter in Wisconsin right now, so I really have not seen the sun. Take your vitamin D, folks. All right, so you can see that that does boost my overall complexion. I would say that it filters it because of the slight metallic sheen. I'm just pressing and tapping. I love sunscreen. I really have embraced it as part of my everyday ritual, no matter what. So this is literally one of those ride or die situations. It doesn't matter where I'm going or what I'm putting on my face afterwards. This is I can't leave the house without product. Next up, I usually go in, and I have been going in with like another highlighting product. Right now, I've been really using this Merit Beauty stick, and this is the shade Bounce. You'll see that they have two shades of this. This is not the lightest, almost universal, well, no, that's not true. I would say this is pretty universal because it also has a translucent base. This is the shade Bounce. It has that pinkish color when you see it online versus like a whitish color. The other color is called Kava, I assume after the kava root. The pinkness does give just a healthy look. It looks like your skin has oxygenated blood flowing to it. And I think that actually does help with the overall feeling of naturalness. So Merit has been really great. I do kind of miss my Westman Atelier Lit Up highlight stick in the shade Lit. That's the holographic one, the one that looks milky white, but also with like unicorn purples and some blues and iridescence. And that has been probably my top glassy highlighter of all time. Despite the price and despite the fact that it's unicorn-y, I would say this is a good stand-in. I don't think they're dupes at all. I actually did a whole video on kind of what's the best highlighter stick, especially in the clean realm. This one went head to head with that Westman Atelier one, and I'll link that down below. However, this is a great stand-in, and I'll show you why. I go in pretty much like, not just like, this is where the sun hits my face first, and I want to highlight it up. I do literally go in there too, but you'll see that I'm drawing it almost right up under my eyes, almost like it's a serum, almost like it's skincare. I know it has been marketed as such. Like, you go onto Merit's website, you'll see that they really boast about different ingredients within this, and to say it reduces puffiness, all this stuff under foundation / concealer. And it really adds that emollient. So it's almost like I'm mixing my own hydrating skin tint, almost like the Rose Ink stuff, almost like the Le Beige Water Fresh skin tint, almost like the Ilia Super Serum skin tint too. It's like you're adding moisture, you're adding radiance, you're adding that like plumpness first, and then putting a little bit of pigment on top and then mixing it together. So you could argue that this is kind of a redundant step. I really like the control of where it goes. So you can see that my skin is looking pretty glassy from all sides. Some might say that it looks sweaty. I think it's nice because once I start layering on the Westman Atelier Super Skin Vital Skin Stick, what's it called? Tell me your secrets. Vital Skin Foundation Stick. This is in Atelier 3. She has been very, very well loved already. It is cheaper per gram by my calculations than the Merit Beauty stuff. I've been just using it with her little baby blender brush. I've seen Gucci Westman use the baby blender brush with her blush sticks. Wow, let's not say that 5 times fast, but you'll see that I'm literally going in. Oh, you know what I forgot to do? I was gonna do like a side-by-side of the before and after. So maybe we can do that a little bit, just like, this is what, I don't know, let's see. We'll see how this goes, but remember my face now, and I'll show a little cutaway of what I look like after, because the difference now, it doesn't feel huge, especially in the YouTube realm, where it's like, I can't even tell what you did. It looks like you didn't do much, but that just covered that red spot that I had. I'm literally pretending like I'm an apprentice of Leonardo da Vinci, someone who's just trying really, really hard to not show their work on a canvas. And the minute I started thinking of painting my face, literally like in the fine arts Western tradition of painting, with oil paints and very, very thin layers to veil a look and to hide your strokes, the way that I see Gucci do it on her own channel, the more I've understood how to do this in a believable and sustainable way. And by sustainable, I just mean I can do this every day and feel like it's not a burden and that it looks consistent. It literally doesn't look like I'm doing anything, especially when I see Gucci. She's just kind of like, oh, nah. You know, it does look that way because that's exactly what I'm doing. I'm literally glancing over little spots of slightly different tone on my face, and it should be seamless. It should literally look like nothing has happened, and yet I am pinpointing the areas that I want to obfuscate. So when I go over the merit, I am going right over the parts where I still think it's a little bit too sweaty looking, directly under my eyes. And I put it directly under my eyes because I know that that's the shadowy parts of my face, but also where a little bit of dew does make it look more youthful. And then I kind of just leave the rest of the dew that I had here alone. So that's not mixing with pigment. But let me show you on this side of my face just how well the Westman Atelier foundation acts as a spot concealer. I know that Westman Atelier also has her spot check brush. It's a tinier brush. It's literally sitting on top of zits just like this right by my mouth. Gross. Or beautiful, gross or gorgeous, right? As Jonathan Van Ness had said. But did you see how that just disappeared? Rewind the tape if you must, but she just fell back into more of a coral spot. Coral with a CH instead of a leading spot. I was thinking Greek tragedies, so back into the chorus. And it hasn't disappeared like, oh my gosh, it's vanished, where did it go? But in the scheme of things, it no longer really stands out, and that's the natural look that I'm really going for. Now, if I were to watch back my video, I would be like, is this really what you do every single morning? This seems like a lot of work to find all the spots and pinpoint them. I love watching Lisa Eldridge do this because this is also, I think, a technique of hers. You'll see I'm literally going over the spot. And voila. And just evening out some of that dewiness and making sure that everything looks symmetrical on both sides. I think that has evened out my complexion so much. But yes, I do this every day. I found that using a skin tint or something that's supposed to just veil over your entire face in one go, I do like those as like a little tinted filter, but I find that I kind of miss a little bit of concealer afterwards. I miss a little bit more corrective, you know, focus, especially under my eyes, especially now that, you know, masks are a huge part of my life, and I'm just tapping in to mix with my fingers that Merit Beauty and the Westman Atelier, especially under my eyes, because the finish together is so nice. It's just a little bit dewy here, but then on my cheeks it's glassy. And then everywhere else on my face is just maybe a nice little dewy plumpness from the Radiant Supergoop. That 2-layered concoction has been working so well for me. I wonder if you've tried it too, just because that's a way of working that doesn't seem like it's hugely mainstream, or yeah, it's not talked about a lot from what I've seen, but I have been watching a lot fewer beauty YouTube kind of like get ready with me tutorials or just makeup tutorials in general. I'm now going in to fill in my brows. For people or for folks who have brows like mine, that the hairs are extremely dark, they're black basically, but they're sparse, so there's a lot of skin showing, so they're kind of in that funny way that if I use a brow pomade, it's only coating the hairs that I have, and since they're so sparse, it just darkens them, but it doesn't really fill in the sparseness. So I don't quite know how to treat that. And I've always traditionally bought a darker brow pencil. This is the Brow Lift Brow Crayon Pencil in Black Brown by Charlotte Tilbury. I liked it because it was refillable, but I often find that, and you'll see it right now as I'm doing this, it might look good for camera, and it might be kind of normalized for what we see on Instagram and TikTok and whatnot nowadays. Really darkens my brows too much. I find that after I pencil them in, and not extremely well, I want to take it down like 3 or 4 notches. So this is the general shape that I have come to, but I have to go in with the spoolie on the other end extremely aggressively, I would say. You can even hear as I'm brushing, and this is a very stiff spoolie. I almost think it's a little too stiff. I have to almost erase what I've done. So I'm working with the hairs in the direction of the hairs to kind of break up the pigment to make it look like I have a lot of little hair strokes, because where the spoolie touches my skin, I'm essentially erasing that pigment off of my skin. So hopefully it looks a little more natural after the spoolie, which is kind of the point, as well as to brush the hairs uniformly. But I am aiming to take off quite a bit of product, and it just feels so counterintuitive. So my question to those of you who also have hair, brows like mine, dark but sparse, do you use a dark brown pencil or a color that matches your hair exactly? Or do you use like a mid-tone taupe or middle brown or something that's like in a different range of color, like a medium or even a light blondie taupe? Because that's the finished color that I'm going for. I'm very curious, so do tell me your thoughts on that. The brows are also one of my like prerequisite pieces. This is my masterpiece. If I'm going out into the world and I don't have to wear a mask, this is kind of where I would stop if I had to do bare minimum. Bare minimum would be sunscreen. Bare minimum would then be brow gel if I literally had to do just 2 things to my face, but I do like to fill in my brows. Brow pomade already is a luxury of time. This is just a nice step. It's a polishing step. It's not a crucial step. Yeah, I feel very polished with this, and not just because I'm wearing a blazer over my Thrasher t-shirt that I've been wearing for the past few days. It's fine. Already my like mid stopping point, as I described before. If I wanted to go a few steps further and really make this pop, and I'm not wearing a mask, I know I say that a lot, but it really factors into what I do, I would go in with lip liner nowadays. I am almost 32 years old, holy molars. Lip Cheat in Iconic Nude by Charlotte Tilbury. I will draw a little heart for you because she is so nice. And you can see that it is a relatively appropriate color for my lips. It is, the minute I draw this on, you'll be like, yeah, I get it. This is a pinky brown, mostly brown, I would say. It has a lot of beige undertones. It has like a milkiness to it. And it's the exact same color as my lips. I literally go in, and I'll show you kind of a side by side. On the right hand side of my lips, I go right up to kind of the crest of my lips. So it's a very subtle thing, but you can see how my lip line on the unlined area is feathering now. It has an uneven line. The color doesn't go all the way up until, you know, the crests of my lips, my cupid's bow and whatnot, and I find that I really can cheat the look of them with this pencil without it looking like I'm wearing lip liner at all. It is a very subtle move. It is not like wearing lipstick, but it just makes me look even more pronounced and enhanced. and it makes the symmetry of my face stronger. It makes kind of the angles of my face stronger because I'm literally drawing my Cupid's bow a little bit more pointy. It makes my face fill out and be more balanced, all with one pencil. So because I have the Burt's Bees beeswax lip balm on top, or underneath rather, it just all comes together and it looks very natural and it kind of goes with the dewiness of my skin. I just feel this is a wonderful little step. Next would be mascara. I'm not going to put this on because I just don't feel like it today, but the one that I'm using right now is the Double Wear Estee Lauder. It's the Zero Smudge formula. They have had this out forever, and this is still my top mascara of all time. I used to say it was the Ilia one, and then I find that it does break down after maybe 4 to 6 months, which is when you're supposed to replace mascara anyway. So it's not a critique on the mascara itself, just saying that one doesn't have as many perhaps preservatives or ways of like keeping up with itself, because I find that it smudges after that time. This does not, so you can argue whether or not, you know, the chemicals in here are worthwhile putting on your eyes, but they last forever. Your choice. I happen to not have the Ilia mascara with me anymore. I finished it and I haven't replaced it because I'm on a no-buy. And I have other mascaras in my arsenal, namely this one. It works so well no matter how dewy my under eye is, no matter how oily my overlids are. That sounds so weird. This works. I'll show you really quickly what I like to do if I want to step it up one more notch. I would go in with the Film Star Bronze and Glow. This, you may notice, has been in my collection, been out of my collection, been in my collection, been out of my collection. A friend had recently bought for herself and they did not like the tones of it, so I took it off of their hands and I've really come back to it. I've fallen in love with it again. If I didn't have such a glassy look, I probably would have used this highlighter to make it kind of mimic that, like a satin but very luminescent look. And I find that the glow really does help sculpt my cheeks. Yeah, maybe I won't use this. I don't know. I'm just kind of talking through my main kit here. And the other final step I guess I would do, and then I'll put on mascara. I'll do it for you. Westman Atelier. And this is in the shade Chouchette. She is, I think, described as a nudie peach. So just with one finger, I was tapping and tapping in this little area right over the Merit highlighter and right up to kind of the corner of my eye here. And I think it brightens and opens up my complexion completely. I have olive skin, an olive undertone with a really golden overtone, like a yellow overtone. And so it's very difficult for me to like suss out whether or not a color will lean too pink or too orange on me. I think that this Chouchette color is actually quite pink. When you put it on my skin, it might be looking a little coral here, but it's not as dusty or as peachy as I thought. When you put it on my skin, it really kind of brings out the perfect amount of pink. It looks really healthy and oxygenated. And if I were to get a little fancy, I like to pop it on my lips as well. It works with the lip liner. And finally here, we'll go in with a mascara. Why not? I do want to know what is in your everyday makeup bag if you are wearing makeup nowadays, if you've come to it or come to kind of have peace with it. I still love wearing makeup every day. I still really relish the time that I have by myself. I think products have come a long way, I will say. I do lament the fact that there are so many different like movements of makeup, but that also drives innovation, right? So the dewy skin look, the glass skin, we don't give aging women in particular the love they deserve for how beautiful they look. And part of that is looking perky, part of that is looking flushed, part of that is looking hydrated, and all of that is supposed to look healthy and young and like I'm active and not sitting 8 hours a day working from home or working at my part-time job or running my own business from my attic. You know, it's so interesting when you dig deep into why we put on makeup and what we're doing here. But it's also really fun and it's meditative and it's restorative to me, and it does help me present as like a a better version of myself out in the world, for better or worse. So I guess I leave you now with this full face of like barely there makeup. Yes, it took me a little while. It wasn't like a 5-minute face, but this is also like me chatting through everything. I hope you like this final look. It is a very simple look, but it hopefully can illustrate how little you need and exactly what I need to feel my best. Do enjoy the rest of your day. I can't wait to see you again on this channel. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you again soon. Adios.